You talk about the New Zealand brand and being wrapped up in clean green, and that certainly applies to this sector. A lot of people around Hawke's Bay would feel like clean green, as it applies to farming, boils down to organic growing, for example, and that's really where the rubber meets the road if you are talking clean green in agriculture. Is that the only comparative advantage that you would say maybe New Zealand farmers might have, or is it what are the other comparative advantages that you see farmers in a small country like this having?
Look, I think organics is fantastic, and we certainly have producers who are doing well out of being in that niche, but it's quite a small niche at the moment. I think the issue for us is to be shifting our big sectors onto a more sustainable basis. That's why initiatives like the Clean Streams Accord with Fonterra are important, because when an overseas consumer is making an ethical judgment about where to buy, one of the things they're going to look at is, well, what was the impact of that industry on the environment? If it's polluting the streams, the waterways, doesn't look so good, so we have to clean up it in that respect. Secondly, it does obviously relate to how we deal with the greenhouse gas emission problem in agriculture. Now, we have this fantastic agriculture industry. It's supplying a significant proportion of our exports, but of course a lot of greenhouse gas emission off it. So how do we tackle that? We know there are ways to tackle the nitrous oxide emissions because our scientists have had the big breakthrough with the nitrification inhibitors, and I think you'll find that particularly in our dairy industry, which is the more intensive farming, we'll get pretty good rollout of that. But we need to be putting a lot of that research effort into the methane emission problem, and that will be partly about animal physiology redesign. It will be about nutrition to try and deal with that. But we can't run away from these issues. No other first world country is running away from the emissions caused by its biggest sectors. And for us, that's agriculture. And again, if we're going to be getting into and staying in the high value markets, we have to have a good story to tell.